The short-lived child tax credit enacted in 2021, wish it had been 1921, was a landmark accomplishment in reducing child poverty. For the first time, disadvantaged families could receive their tax credit monthly to use for groceries, child care, getting to work, health care, and it was fully refundable, available to the very poorest families in America. Republicans blocked the renewal of the child tax credit and said we just couldn't afford to lift that many poor children out of poverty. But they never can give up on lifting corporations out of paying a reasonable tax rate. In announcing this tax deal, Chairman Smith correctly and candidly declares that the bill locks in $600 billion in extended business tax breaks. Enacting these provisions incrementally does two things. This is from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. It suggests that maybe the chairman overestimated things a little, but I accept his number. They say $525 billion is the permanent cost for these tax breaks, and the permanent cost for the child tax credit is $80 billion. Doing it incrementally, while you intend for it to be permanent, ensures you never really show the true cost to the debt for unpaid tax breaks, and it assures that you create the misimpression that children are being treated the same way as corporations, when in fact, under the chairman's numbers, children get $1 for every $4 for corporations. This is not a 50-50 split between children and corporate power. Once again, this committee is saying its priority is clear, and it's certainly not children. Given how little assistance poor Americans have usually received from this committee, I respect the advocates who are ready to take whatever they can get. The expanded child tax credit in 2021 lifted 5 million children out of poverty, and this bill, it'll lift 8% of them out of poverty. Compromise is good, but compromising children is not. As our colleague Rosa DeLauro, who has steadfastly fought and authored this child tax credit for over a decade, declared, it lacks equity. It's keeping millions of children in preventable poverty, providing a massive tax cut to big corporations without offering middle and working class families true economic security. And who are these corporate beneficiaries? A host of big names who paid an average effective tax rate under 8%. These are the companies benefiting the most from our national security and doing the least to pay for it. Let's take two examples. Under today's bill, taxes for Nike, which had an effective tax rate of 10% on profits of $4.5 billion in 2022, will be retroactively lowered by $195 million to an effective tax rate of 5%. No wonder they say, just do it. How about doing a little more for the children instead of for a company that is soaring to do just a little less? And how about Netflix? They did even better than Nike. On its 2022 profits of $4.5 billion, it paid an effective tax rate of a mere 2%. Today, this committee will grant it a tax refund of about $220 million. The results, a negative less than zero tax rate of minus 5%. Meanwhile, the Tax Foundation reports that a single mom who's struggling to get by and provide for her two children, who earns an average wage, pays an effective rate of 20%. So today, this committee approves sending $220 million to a corporation paying a 2% rate and little or nothing to the mom, some kind of a Netflix series that makes. And while some of these corporate provisions may have merit, even the Wall Street Journal calls this a, quote, retroactive sop to companies that already made investment decisions. And the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, chaired by Mitch Daniels and Leon Panetta, not exactly a hotbed of liberalism, likewise concludes that this bill, quote, irresponsibly offers retroactive windfalls that will do nothing to help the economy. Unless the objective is pure corporate giveaways, the retroactive provisions should be dropped. Yes, this bill is bipartisan, just like our overall tax code overflows with loopholes and special advantages to the powerful on a bipartisan basis. That doesn't make it right. This deal only continues slanting the tax code against working families, justifying their public skepticism about whose side we're on. I believe we have a duty to fight for working families, to reform this broken tax code, and today's bill moves in just the wrong and opposite direction. I yield back.